wanted the best? You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming with another great podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Have you shared the word of the Chris Voss Show, the podcast, with your friends, neighbors, relatives? Have you gone to them and said, have you heard about our wonderful podcast that we love, the Chris Voss Show? Have you subscribed to it on iTunes lately? Bang on the door on Saturday mornings after they're hungover. See if they want to subscribe. Grab their phone, get them subscribed to the show and all that good stuff. We really appreciate it more than you will ever know. And plus, you can share the love. And who doesn't want to share the love? You can go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. Share even more love by touching the bell notification button, and when you do, special feeling will wash over you as you feel like you're a part of something in a family that loves you but doesn't judge you in any way, shape, or form. What better family could that be? Also go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, and also go see all of our wonderful groups that we have on Facebook, LinkedIn, blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. It's on social media. Just press the button and share. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We've got a brilliant author. He is the author of the book Unleash Your Primal Brain, Demystifying How We Think and Why We Act. Tim Ash is on the show with us today. He's going to be sharing all his brilliant knowledge. He does a lot of different things in the space of motivating people, speaking, just being an online rock star. He is an acknowledged authority on evolutionary psychology and a digital marketer. He is sought after internationally as a keynote speaker and the best-selling author of the book we just talked about and a landing page optimization. Has over 50,000 copies sold worldwide and translated into 6 languages. Tim has been mentioned by Forbes as a top 10 online marketing expert and by Entrepreneur Magazine as an online marketing influencer to watch. And this episode is brought to you by a sponsor, ifi-audio.com, and their micro iDSD signature. It's a top-of-the-range desktop transportable DAC and headphone app that will supercharge your headphones. It has 2 brown burr DAC chips in it and will decode high-res audio and MQA files. We're using it in the studio right now. I've loved my experience with it so far. It just makes everything sound so much more richer and better and takes things to the next level. iFi Audio is an award-winning audio tech company with one aim in mind: to improve your music enjoyment of quality sound, eradicate noise, distortion, and hiss from your listening experience. Check out their new incredible lineup of DACs and audio enhancement devices at ifi-audio.com. And what do you know? He's right here in the flesh to share it with us. Tim, welcome to the Chris Voss Show. How are you?
Oh, well, thanks, Chris. I knew it was going to be in the flesh, I would have taken my shirt off, but okay. I can see it's going to be that kind of show.
That's for the OnlyFans show, which is kind of after hours here on the Chris Voss Show.
That's right. Well, yeah, they always said I had a body for radio, so that works out.
That's what they say about me, too. I got a radio face, so there you go. All right, Tim, where can we find you on the internet? Where can people look you up and get to know you more?
Oh, easy to do. If you're interested in my keynote speaking or corporate marketing training or digital marketing consulting for executives, that's at timash.com. And if you're interested in my book, Unleash Your Primal Brain, that's at primalbrain.com.
There you go. Primal Brain. Sounds like something that should be on the menu. So what motivates you to write this book?
Wow, great question. As you mentioned, I ran a digital marketing agency that was focused on making websites more effective for over 20 years. And we work with the Siemens and Googles and Facebooks, Expedias of the world on down, and created 1.2 billion in documented value. But the problem is that a lot of big companies and governments essentially have a giant advantage on us. As consumers, we're being manipulated by algorithms and artificial intelligence. And I just wanted to level the playing field. I saw what they were really doing behind the scenes, and I wanted to say, look, This is how your brain evolved. This is how you're being manipulated. So it's good to understand the operating system for human beings. So I want to do a bunch of myth busting and write a really accessible book about how our brain really works.
There you go. So give us an overview of your book and what's inside.
The book itself is very readable. There's not a single footnote, table, or any kind of diagrams in it. It's
good. I'm against those. I have a constitution against footnotes.
And I also did it as an audiobook, which I recorded myself, and that was a lot of fun. So I just wanted to make it easy for people to read, but at the same time, I didn't dumb it down. So it basically covers the whole arc of evolution. If you want to understand where human beings came from, early life on Earth, happy chemicals in our brain, learning, memory, language, culture, gender differences, our highly social natures, it's all in there.
Nice. So why the title, Unleash Your Primal Brain? What's the obsession with the primal brain thing? What is that about?
I think in the West, ever since the days of the ancient Greeks, we've had this bias that human beings are rational. If we could only tame the wild horses of our emotions and be like Mr. Spock on Star Trek, we'd all be better off. In fact, that's not true at all. 95% of what happens in your head to help you survive is happening on autopilot. It's emotional based. You literally can't make a decision without involving emotion. And so I wanted to just peel that back and talk about the part of the brain that's in charge 95% of the time.
I feel like I should have brought a spear to this interview.
At least a club, yeah.
So when you say unleash your primal brain, what are you helping people do? Do I need to go grab a spear?
No, not necessarily. I'd say the book is a bit of a chameleon. And what I mean by that is I wrote it with obviously a deep marketing background. And if you want to read it for any kind of persuasion, from marketing, sales, leadership, anything like that, you're going to get a ton out of it. But you wear a different hat and you want to understand relationships, how people are highly social, how we're conformists, how we're obligated by giving each other gifts, all of that tribal stuff. You could read it for that. Or if you want it from a personal development standpoint about sleep, the need to socialize, what drugs do to your body and your brain, and understand all that from a personal development level, you could read it that way too. So it's really Human Beings 101, the operating system.
Wow. The operating system 101. So what are some tips and tricks that you recommend in the book that we can at least tease out to people to get them to order that baby up?
One of the things that I think most people underappreciate is how much our brain really looks for threats. So as a marketer, for example, we're always doing what I call marketing happy talk. Like, hey, you should buy our stuff. All 8 billion people on the planet need to get this now. Order today. And you'll have whiter teeth and fresh breath and be better looking. All of that stuff. That's what I call happy talk, when in reality, our brains are attuned to threats and loss and survival, anything that lessens our chances of surviving. So we actually respond way better to negative messaging. So if you want to persuade me to do something, you first have to move me off my comfortable spot. And to do that, you can use fear or greed, and fear works a lot better. So, for example, do you like ice cream, Chris? What's your favorite flavor?
Does it look like I don't like ice cream or something?
Hey, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. No, what's your favorite flavor?
It is chocolate mint.
Chocolate mint. Okay, so here's a bowl of chocolate mint ice cream. But Chris, as you reach for it, I'm just going to whack you once on the back of the hand with a hammer. Is that
like
okay?
My mom when I was growing up. Okay.
There you go. But just the one time. So what do you think? You want that ice cream still?
I don't know, man. You going to hit me again with the hammer, dude?
No, just the one time. But I'm just saying,
we have a trust issue now.
Okay. I'll stop beating you with the hammer as soon as we're off the air here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Joking aside, though, so I know what's going to motivate you more. It's going to be the fear and the pain avoidance and the loss.
Oh,
and that's why we have that the bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. Where anything that's certain or good is not it's easier to get than pain avoidance. So we want to motivate people with pain avoidance. We want to say, hey, things are really bad if you stay on your current path. That's why you need to change. So actually rub salt into the wound if you want to persuade someone. Don't start with all the happy talk.
Wow. Okay. Sounds like I need to put someone in front of my fridge for my diet with a hammer to keep me out of it and stuff. That might be
well, okay. So it's okay if you want to lose weight. I got a few pandemic pounds I'm carrying. Then it's not, it's just another reaching into the pantry for some chips. You'd say, okay, you're going to have arterial sclerosis, and and eventually when you get the diabetes, we'll have to cut your legs off, and then after that you'll get Alzheimer's and you're going to die alone with your cats. So that's the end of that road, right? That's what motivates you to lose a little weight. It's not that you'll feel better in your clothes.
Yeah, I'm into dying with cats. I don't know why.
I'm a cat person. In fact, I'm a Leo, so they're my people.
There's probably a joke there somewhere I'm not even going to put on the show. But
that's
anyway,
for the after hours audience again.
Yeah, OnlyFans, after hours audience. No, you bring up a good point. I just got this idea. I should probably cover the whole fridge and arterial sclerosis pictures from Google. I'll just Google that and just paste them all over the fridge, put it on the handle. So you
autopsy photos of morbidly obese people. Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it. I'll just shove a camera. Anyway, the would be really smart. See-through fridges. That just occurred to me. If you want to sell more food or something, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That might be bad for people.
Yeah, it's called a store display case. I heard.
Store display case. Yeah, it's got the thing in there. That probably wouldn't be a good idea unless you're trying to sell food. I like this idea. There's marketers have always told me there's two different things that motivate people. There's pain and there's pleasure. So you're saying that a bigger percentage is the pain part?
See, it's literally 2.5, 3 to 1, depending on the circumstances. Really? Yeah. So I hear marketers saying that's off brand for us. We don't say mean things and we don't compare ourselves to our competitors. Great. Keep fighting with one hand tied behind your back. Have fun.
Well, that makes sense though. Most people, so basically I should start running ads for the Chris Voss Show podcast saying, do you want your family to die?
You should say, you want to get stupider and duller and...
I don't know. That's a motivation for some people. According to the news I've been watching lately, that's a pleasure point.
Oh, actually, hey, let's go in that direction because I'm all in. One of the other things in the book that I talk about is our highly social nature. So in a way, you could say the history of human beings on the planet isn't individual surviving, it's tribe against tribe. And so the most important thing that we can demonstrate is that we're good tribal members. And that means we have to be with the program. And it's so important for us to transmit cultural knowledge that we're actually willing to do that at the expense of our direct life experience.
Wow.
In other words, what our eyes and ears tell us, we're going to ignore in order to pass on tribal knowledge reliably. And we form into tribes over the most trivial things. But you can see this kind of in our polarized politics right now. Yeah. That's a very important human characteristic, unfortunately.
I'm in the milk chocolate tribe. I fight anybody who likes Rocky Road. I will kill you, man. I'll take you. I'll eat your flesh. Anyway.
Well, I mean, look at this. So I got my Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus 5G.
There you go.
It kicks ass on your iPhone. I'd start a jihad if I actually said that to an Apple person. Am I right?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I have an S20 too. I love it. It's the best phone ever. But yeah, I start a lot of fights with the iPhone people. In fact, I'm using one for Clubhouse. I had to use one, so I borrowed it from a good friend. And oh my God, what a difference to use that phone. But it's a cult on its own.
And that's precisely my point. So mostly we were designed to be in our own tribe. It was probably our relatives running around the plains of East Africa, maybe 100 to 200 people. And so a tribe was obviously that. But now in these complicated, huge societies, we have, like you say, voluntary tribes, like what phone brand we use, or I'm in the streamlined haircut tribe because I choose to shave my head. But some tribes, like I was born in Russia, that's not a voluntary choice where you're born, who you're born to. So you can think of us as an overlay of different tribal allegiances, and whichever one's active in the current context, that's the one we focus on.
Yeah, it's I'm in the podcast tribe. I'm on the Chris Voss Show podcast. How many of you are in the podcast show Chris Voss Show podcast tribe? Make sure that you subscribe and then bring a spear.
If you don't subscribe, you will die a lonely death.
You'll die a lonely death. I'm seriously rethinking all my ads at this point. But we have the Chris Voss Show cup. We're going to have the Chris Voss Show. You need
more branding, dude. There's just not enough visual signage on your podcast.
Yeah. We're going to have the Chris Voss Show spear. That's what's coming up next.
I like
the Chris Voss Show down the whole spear.
Shaka Zulu.
I'm going to mount it on the back, the Shaka Zulu. I'm going to have, I don't know, some other witch doctor sort of element thing going on back here. We're going to build out the set.
Just promise you'll have me come back when you do that? I'm ready. I got my caveman cover photo on my book. I'm ready to rock and roll.
He's all going for it.
And by the way, I don't need a spear. I used to be a saber fencer back in my college days, so I'll just whack you with a sword.
Like whole James Bond and shit, like fencing or spearing or whatever that is. You bring up a good point, because when you watch the news, if it bleeds, it leads. The news always does that teaser. They go, Find out how cuddling with teddy bears will kill you. Just like, what? What? Soft serve ice cream and the glass chunks in it tonight at 11. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Well, you laugh, but the way the brain works, like the basic operating system is as follows. If it's dangerous, I deal with it immediately. That's the reactive part of my brain automatically. If it's something that I'm familiar with, I'll ignore it. That's the other thing. So it's got to be something that cuts through our attention. You go, whoa, what's that? I'm not familiar with it. I better pay attention. The only thing that gets our attention is unexpected stuff. I don't care if you skydive. If you've done it 100 times, you won't remember your 100th skydive. You will remember your first because that's the one that calibrated your scales.
That or you remember the first one where your parachute doesn't open.
You won't remember that.
You will for a very short time, but there'll be that. There'll be that whole
paying
experience
attention all the way down. That's right.
Yeah. It's always that last jump that gets you. Anyway, that's why they call it the last jump. See what I did there? What else have we covered in your book? Or should we talk a little bit about your speaking engagements and different things that you do with coaching and things of that nature? Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, for almost 20 years, I ran an interactive agency that focused on what's called conversion rate optimization or making websites more effective. And I wrote a couple of best-selling books. Here's the second edition, Landing Page Optimization, and started the first worldwide conference series on the subject. It used to be called Conversion Conference. Now it's called Digital Growth Unleashed. Still happens in Europe, in Germany, UK, and in the US in non-pandemic years, of course. But now I'm out of the agency, I'm out of the conference, and I'm focusing on the new book. Also, I just dropped the new LinkedIn learning class, if you're on LinkedIn, on neuromarketing. So check that out. I'm forming a mastermind group for marketing executives who want to understand neuromarketing and use that as the basis for driving their business growth. And of course, as you mentioned, keynote speaking, both virtual trainings for companies and organizations, as well as in person. So that's coming back now. I've been to Florida. I got another one in San Diego and then Vegas in a couple of months. So the live events are picking back up.
Vegas, baby. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the live events come back. I'm really excited to get the hell out of the house and go travel and go chase things around Vegas. I'm not sure what that means, but I used to live there, so we all know what that means. Anyway.
I'm in San Diego, so for me, it's like taking the bus. I've been there probably 40, 50 times to speak or run my own conference. Very familiar.
I can't wait for NAB, CES, all the shows, just being able to go do stuff in Vegas. And stuff.
That's really important to understand how our social natures really impact our quality of life. There have been the longitudinal studies that basically say not having a good social support network is the medical equivalent of being a 2-pack a day smoker in terms of life outcomes.
I feel that way after 2.
Yeah. And so it's really important, I think, especially now as we're coming out of the pandemic, I expect a kind of a rebound. We've been isolated so long that people are going to want some extra mingling, extra connection, extra in person. So go out there and do it and give people hugs if they're vaccinated. Yeah.
I've been telling the jokes that I'm going to run around once everyone gets vaccinated. I'm going to lick everything, lick all the windows. I'm going to walk up to people and go, "You want to make out?" And they'll, "Dude, what?" And I'm just like, "Dude, we can, man. Let's just do it because we can."
Free now. Kissing booth.
Free kissing booth, free makes out. I'll have one of those shirts say hugs here. And I'm just going to walk around the mall, lick every door handle, lick every window, and just be like, "Fuck yeah, man. We can do whatever now. We're inoculated against freaking Ebola."
Actually, though, the hugging part's important. I talk about happy chemicals in my book. And one of the things that triggers oxytocin is actually hugs. That's the feel-good chemical.
It's not meth?
There's other feel-good chemicals, but I talk about the dangers of addiction as well in the book. But joking aside,
Tim says it's not
meth is not oxytocin. No.
Don't do that.
No, don't do meth. But joking aside, oxytocin actually gets triggered by 20 seconds of skin contact. So hold the hugs. Americans are, I don't know, Protestant constipated in that way. Hold the hugs. I'm from Russia. We're huggers.
Yeah. Well, I tried that excuse of, "Hey, I'm holding you, so your oxytocin is
increased."
Helping, but
absolutely.
Now I'm banned from all airplanes. No,
I know it's a problem in many of the clubs in Vegas, from what I've heard as well.
Yeah, you get thrown out of there too. I'm not welcome anywhere the judge says. Anyway, I'm just teasing. But hopefully, I don't know, maybe we become a more huggable society. And I could use about 50 hugs after this last year.
I hear you. I'm part of this organization called the Mankind Project, and it's the men's initiation weekend you go through. and then there are local groups that meet on an ongoing basis. And we've been virtual for over a year, of course, and just had our first in-person meeting, and it was just like so good to just be in real life instead of on a Zoom screen.
Yeah, I can't wait to just like, hey man, you want to go have coffee today? Hang out with all my friends. Of course, they're still in Vegas, and hang out with all my friends and be like, yeah, man, you just sit there and you don't have to have a mask on. You don't have to be like, what's going on, whatever, and have a piece of glass between you. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
so
and
pretty cool.
I'm proud of my daughter. She's actually right after this recording, I'm going to take her to get her dose 1 of the Pfizer vaccine.
There you go.
And
there
she's
you go.
only 14, and she's just
so they're just getting out of the teens now, huh?
Yeah, there you can go all the way down to 12 with the Pfizer, and they're talking about soon it's going to be down to 2 with the Pfizer.
The only time it's ever been beneficial for me to be fat and old was getting that vaccine. Like they went from like old people, and they're like, hey, if you're fat with a fat BMI, get in here and you can get a shot. And I'm like,
same here. I was like, I was right there on the tipping point of apparently I'm obese. I'm really stocky, but 5'9", 200 gets you the vaccine. I'm there.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that BMI, I remember seeing it, and I'm like,
it's totally
suspicious.
Bogus. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I was like, who based this BMI? But I was like 3 times the BMI, so I was like, okay, yeah, I can probably fit in there. But good stuff. Anything more we want to comment on the book, Tim, before we go out?
No, I'd say that if you really want to understand yourself and take yourself into better account, whether, again, it's personal relationships or business, evolutionary psychology is a really great place to start. And I've made it very simple and accessible. It's not some deep science book, but it's packed with good stuff in a very accessible format. So
shouldn't you be spinning this a different way on the promotion? Shouldn't you be saying, if you don't want your children to die alone in an alleyway, buy Tim Ash's book?
You're absolutely right. Hopefully I've made it clear what ignorance leads you to cults and death, and you will have yellow stains under your armpits too. How about that? Unless you get this book.
There you go.
How's that for a smooth segue?
Your teeth will not be fully white
because you've been doing the meth and they'll fall out anyway. But okay.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's what the parole agent tells me. The beautiful part is they can get their teeth whiter by chewing on your book, evidently, from what I hear. That's a rumor. I know that.
Yeah, just don't try that with the ebook. It doesn't work as well when you gnaw on your iPad.
You just rub against the screen. You just do that, and that'll do. I don't know. That actually might work, actually. When you think about it, it's like sandpaper. I don't know. Don't do that, people. Seriously.
Do not try this at home. Let's be clear.
These are jokes, people. Yeah, these are jokes, people. Don't write us. Anyway, guys, so we certainly appreciate you being on the show, Tim, to share all this wonderful knowledge. Thank you very much for spending time with us today.
Oh, Chris, it's been my pleasure and my honor.
There you go. So, guys, check him out. Give us your plugs one more time, Tim, so people can find you on the internet.
Easy enough. timash.com, and the book's at primalbrain.com. If you go there, you can check out the table of contents and get the chapter of your choice. And,
wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Check it out, guys. You better do it, or else go to your local booksellers or Amazon. Check out the Unleash Your Primal Brain, Demystifying How We Think and Why We Act by Tim Ash. Just came out April 6th, 2021, and all that good stuff. Go see the video version of this. Tim's got like a whole array behind him. He's got a really funny sign behind him, and he's got a whole array of all the different shows that he's done. So you definitely want to go to the YouTube thing and check it out. YouTube.com/Chris Voss. If you haven't subscribed there, you might die in a fire. So go to the Chris Voss Show and subscribe.
You are gonna. I can tell you're gonna redo all your marketing.
I'm milking the shit out of this from here. Go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Goodreads.com/Chris Voss. Don't let your children die alone. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We certainly appreciate it. Be safe. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.